Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, everyone? What's going on, Chip? I'll tell you what's going on. The XRP global agenda has been exposed. Wait a minute, maybe the leftist agenda over in Europe. One of those agendas have been exposed. We're going to talk about all of it, the geopolitics, the cryptocurrency, a lot of great things happening as usual for us to talk about. They might not, well, in this case, it's great. We're going to have a lot of fun things to talk about: interoperability, multi-chain, and the political shockwaves that are going to ripple and be felt all over the world.
Like how you worked in Ripple. That was nice.
Got
Nice touch, Jeff.
a
You
weird
guys ready to hit this? Are you ready to rumble? We have Run Rumble tonight, so I had to say that. Let's
we are
go.
ready to rumble.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Everybody. Hey, yeah. Drop where you're from. Drop where you're from.
Like it.
Drop where you're from. Drop it in there. Chat, whether you're watching on the
people on
rewatch. It
Rumble.
doesn't matter.
Who's on Rumble? Who's on X? Who's on YouTube? Where's our Twitch viewer?
Yeah. So let's start it off. Why don't we get it? This party started. Hola, amigos. Hola.
Over at Apex. Did you go to Apex? Who's at Apex, or who went to Apex? That was this weekend,
isn't it? No, I think it was. Wasn't it today? Tomorrow?
Is it this weekend?
I think it's this
Today?
week.
Who knows? The week? I've lost all track.
I don't know what.
Whoever is going to go or there. Got our one listener coming all the way in from Nebraska. That's what we're talking about.
Hello, boys. Been a while. Gary's back. Good to see you, Gary.
Good.
We are going to talk about this. So I don't know who this guy Will Fix is, but he put this video up.
Fix.
It was 80% of all Japanese banks partnered with Ripple, XRP. They have clarity for crypto, but the video, and we don't have to listen to it. I'm playing here. He doesn't know what's going on. He's saying, but it doesn't seem like the price of XRP is responding to the phenomenal news, which is the 80% of the banks in Japan have partnered with Ripple. And so he's going on to say they're expecting keyword or by 2025, meaning what was he saying?
2024. Momentum here by 2025. So hang in there. But I think Crypto Eddie had some comments.
That's what he was saying. But he was saying, but again, it's this moon boy. We're blasting off 80%. We're going to the moon. The moon is getting ready to launch. It's the same thing. It's mind blowing. Wow. I don't know what's going on. Are you ready? Because you might be back to you. It's going to be the flip of the switch. That's the flip right there, Jeff. So Crypto Eddie weighed in and she said, am I really the crypto police or am I looking out for the community? This is what happens when you ignore or join in to pump your bags. I never imagined it would come to this. Yeah, it's kind of sad, isn't it?
Actually, I'm pretty confident that we've anticipated and expected it over an extended period of time. Granted, given where we've come from, this notion of misinterpreting information or trying to draw some sort of a parallel or trying to just pull rabbits out of a hat. The riddles, that's what I'm trying to think. Continuously trying to solve riddles, I think, is part of the issue, right? Trying to read in between every little line. But even the idea and the notion of 80% of the banks over in Japan working with Ripple, I want to see some receipts on that. 80%. I know SBI.
No, they are partnered 8%. Crypto Eddie put the news out.
80%. It's 80%. Are they working with XRP?
No,
we can have a blow up in XRP. Is that
partnered with Ripple? But the Moon Boys are going. Well, that means we're going to the moon tomorrow. And all she reported on was the fact that has anybody covered this in a truthful manner? And no, they have not.
No,
that was like the whole thing is like they just. You got the Moon Boys constantly saying, "Oh, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon," and pack your bags, and the Fed's going to buy your bags back, and it's going to be, everything's going to be going great. It's
going to go groovy.
Yeah.
It's kind of probably as you get into it, and we talked a little bit about some of the news yesterday also, where they just get in and they create an interpretation. They create a scenario out of something.
Yeah.
and everybody's
So
so
this is it right here. Sorry,
hopeful.
I get it wrong. She was saying how many influencers you listen to or read their posts that use this in their content. The 80% of banks in Japan. She's like hashtag no research again. It wasn't. So it's just like this whole thing. Somebody picks up. What happens is they got these some kind of crappy sites that put out these
Well, that's it.
things. It's like, okay, but did you actually? Some dude here. Here's another one.
But it's not accurate.
No, it's not accurate, but I'm saying,
That's
but
the
this
whole
is what
point.
happens. They see it in a publication out there. Another one picks up on it. Then the next thing you know, they pick up on it, and all she's calling them out like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what are you talking
Well,
about? 80% of
well,
the
not well.
banks."
Let's say 80% of the banks actually did use Ripple, and they're using RippleNet. Let's say that
So
was the
what?
case. What difference would that have impact wise on XRP right now?
Nothing is, but the whole thing, and like here's another one right here. You have this guy says, so when the CEO of SBI says all Japanese banks will be using XRP by 2025, we shouldn't believe him. He never said that. you
Right.
know. Dean also thought he said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the World's
60,
Fair.
63 partnered banks. So let's say there are, I mean, that's
Coin Speaker article. That's what it was. It
80%.
was
63 is a lot. 80%. I mean, it's just trying to draw too much out of it as you kind of go back. There were definitely with SBI. SBI is a actually has a large presence over in Japan. So is that how they're trying to generate
yeah.
some inference to, well, SBI has this power play, they have a strong position in Japan. They're using Ripple, they're using the technology. Then what?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Katao he's an investor in Ripple, but also R3 as well too. But she was just putting out, this is July 17, SBI consortium grew to 61 banks, member banks representing 80% of total assets. This is where the 80% rumor began. It's assets, not banks.
Right.
Okay, so 80% of the assets is, and then Alien Matrix says, I get there's a lot of disinformation out there. And honestly, I've always ignored it, but it seems like you've made it your goal lately to dismiss anything XRP. Well, yeah, when it's incorrect.
The
when
exact
she
opposite.
she
Right.
brings the receipts. I mean, been here since your inception in this community. It seems like this is your way of dealing with your disappointment. I had to listen to more than 6 channels yesterday spreading this false information. It
Yep.
matters. Why would I just ignore it when it's all about financial decisions for many who never do their own research? You must know, if you've been here a while, originally was drawn XRP to combat misinformation by Bitcoin maxis, which was brutal in 2018 to 2019. Now
Was.
the overhype from within the
That was
community is
brutal.
just as bad. Overselling reality, way beyond speculation. XRP is one of the best assets for full trading. I love it. And
It's actually worse. I wouldn't say the overhype within our community is just as bad as what the Bitcoin maxis were doing. I think it's worse because the Bitcoin maxis were our Bitcoin maxis, and their focus point was, well, XRP is the banker's coin. XRP
right, that was pretty lame, right?
and it's centralized, and it's not, and et cetera. And you can dispel that right away. But from this perspective, you have people within the community that are creating information. They're creating fact and outcome based on rumor and speculation. And then they're making it as though it's pure fact. And then they're running on that. And that's where, to me, I think it crosses the line to worse than what the Bitcoin maxis were doing, because we know exactly what the Bitcoin maxi agenda was. They just hated anything that's not Bitcoin. I mean, so it's very evident when they would come out and say things when it's coming from within the community. But it doesn't stop. It will, at some point, we'll get to a point where, the noise, it just becomes a lot of background noise. But you're still going to have FOMO. You're still going to have FUD. I mean, you don't have to look too far to even mainstream stock trading to see FOMO and FUD that gets broadcasted on the media as they try to manipulate outcome of stock. Just look at Kramer's show. Anytime he gives you advice, it's already too late. The
Yeah,
stock's
you already
already hit its
lost.
peak, and when you buy in, you're going to be holding the bag, for the institutions that bought a lot earlier, and so it's just like, you look at it from that perspective, and you want to talk about manipulation, and I put in an article people are commenting on what happened on Friday with GameStop with Roaring Kitty, comes in late, proves that he's not the one that manipulated the market. He didn't do anything. He didn't even sell any of his shares. There was no movement of shares. And then you saw GameStop coming in, releasing, what was it, like 75 million or whatever shares, or whatever number of shares they came in. And then you had the short sellers, and then you had stoppages on the exchanges where you couldn't trade GameStop because they were like forecast. So what was the SEC's involvement in that? And so there you have manipulation, but you have FUD, a bunch of FUD being spread because of the FUD against Roaring Kitty, in terms of potential manipulation of stock for his own gains. And so there was some articles coming out to that perspective. And then when you look back in retrospect, so obviously stuff like that still happens, but right now, this market is getting ready to grow up, and all the riddles and all this stuff, to me, I enjoyed it back in 2017,
I
2018.
still enjoy it.
It's fun, but but then you look at it, you're like, hey, it's fun. It's not fact. It's not the information. It's like, let's move on. It's
Fun is fun, but
know.
now it's done, is what you're saying.
Now it's done. Right now, it's no more. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah,
now
especially
it's all
when
business.
it's all business, Jeff. Witzewin over there, who is the chief dog running the XRPL Labs. He's the chief guy, CEO over there, visionary.
Chief in charge.
And this was kind of cool because Zaman put this, which was formerly known as Zum Wallet, said, don't miss Witzewin at XRPL Apex. Challenge your perspective, rethink how we leverage the XRPL. What if we could target 8 billion people just instead of blockchain enthusiasts? And he said a different perspective on building. We crawled. We're now walking. What would running look like? Interesting question.
Find out June 13th at 9:30 a.m.
What XRPL stage? That's going to be really fun.
Oh, that's over at Apex. So June 13th is what day? Thursday.
There you go.
Thursday, 9:30 a.m. over in that time zone over at Apex. Go to the XRPL stage and go find out if you're there. If you're going to Apex, go say what's up to Vitzi. Tell him we sent you there. Give him a quick shout out.
We sent us there. We read his post on X and we sent you there. You see,
we sent you there. We said go check him out.
See what I'm saying? Fist bump, fist bump, fist bump. Got some John Deaton news here. John Deaton, he was talking about
Johnny D.
Well, so, Warren, she really is a useful idiot. That's just about the best way to say it.
Chip, all together now, Bitcoin is winning.
Of course it's winning. It's always going to be, it's the winner until it's displaced. It's always been the winner. It's the first, it's the name brand of all crypto. I mean,
right.
Of course, what Bitcoin is winning. Here we go.
Dude, blockchain monkeys. What is up? Holy crap. I haven't seen you on here in forever.
Yeah.
Man, good to see you.
Haven't seen him forever, man. Let's go. Good to see you, man. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, go subscribe to him now. By the way, he puts out more than just XRP content. He finds some good news. Sometimes I don't know where. I don't know where he finds it sometimes, but I was like, oh, this is a good one. Late once a Mark. We're gonna let it stay. We're gonna let it go this time. But so Elizabeth Warren. So here's Warren, right? So she goes, Republicans stand for billionaires and book bans. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. The Democrats stand for fairness and fighting chance for every child. What are they talking about?
Except for the unborn.
Well, the unborn and also the tens of thousands. Did you notice they lost 80,000 children? They don't know where they are that have crossed the border. They came in over the border illegally. Do you know they lost 80,000 kids? So explain to me how you're giving a fighting chance to those kids, right? Yeah. Who are trafficked into the country. So
no.
This is billionaires and book bans. Well, since you're not a billionaire, but you're a millionaire and you made over $80 million, why don't you contribute 40%, $40 million, half of your salary? There's a little box on that when you send your taxes and you can check it and you can contribute more. But she won't. She never will. Right. John Deaton came in and kind of crushed her on this one. He's like, Senator Warren, as you're aware, considering you participated in a crass joke about it, when she was at that, my memoir isn't called Billionaire Warrior. It's called Food Stamp Warrior. I've stood up for the little guy my entire life. First, I was raised by a single mother on welfare and food stamps in one of the poorest and most violent neighborhoods across America. That's in Detroit. I'm only the one to graduate from high school in my family. Second, I served 7 years of active duty in the Marine Corps. serving this great country of ours. Third, for the 22 years, I've been representing working families across Commonwealth, being Massachusetts, devastated from mesothelioma diagnosis caused by asbestos exposure. We're talking about shipyard workers, pipe fitters, plumbers, brake mechanics, carpenters, laborers, and so on, not billionaires. Okay. Senator Warren, you, on the other hand, represented travelers insurance and asbestos litigation. Speaking of billions, travelers generated $41 billion in revenue in 2023. In contrast, I've been going up against travelers for the last 2 decades, forcing them to compensate actual asbestos victims. That's the difference between our two approaches. You tried to help asbestos victims by working for the company. I've been fighting for over 2 decades to actually help. And there's one Republican, you can't paint with your divisive brush. In case you forgot, here's a reminder. And this was the thing where she talked about mentioned John Deaton's at this. She just says John Deaton here, but she made a really bad joke. What you got there?
Poker Mope says, is it too late to move to Massachusetts so I can vote for John Deaton? So I pulled up the voter registration deadline. I was just posting that you can actually go online and you can register 10 days before election day. So in the meantime, between now and election day,
does renting an Airbnb count?
Well, you'd have to have a physical address, like your actual residential permanent address, rented or owned. The laws in Massachusetts might be a little different. In Florida, you can't use a PO box, you can't use a UPS, you can't use a business, can't use a vacant lot. I'm sure that's the same pretty much every state. Yeah. However, a lot of the 2020, they had a lot of people registered to the exact same vacant lot.
Isn't that funny? That's good, isn't it, Jeff? You gotta give some props to people that I wanted to try to find this. Where is this message? Where is it, people?
You don't file return, you don't get to vote. But now as they're checking in the illegals that are here, they're getting them registered.
Speaking of that, Jeff, this guy Jim Iorio said, "It saddens me that both my parents now vote strictly Democrat. It would never have happened when they were alive." That's like, I don't like that. Sometimes truth's in the numbers, man.
Vote early, vote often.
That never would have happened when they were alive.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's something, huh? So just going back to Warren, I kind of just put this out there. I'm like, Warren's scared. She's running scared. And she should be scared because nobody in Massachusetts has seen the likes of John Deaton, who is champion for the underdog. This guy spent his whole life championing the underdog, even including himself. So donate to John's campaign. Let's send him to Washington. Any amount works. And the cool thing is you can set a recurring one. So let's say you say, I really want to help John. I live in the U.S. Obviously, if you live outside the U.S., you can't, but I live in the U.S. and you want to help him. I just put that down in the chat. But you can say like, hey, I'll give him $10 a month until the campaign. You can say I'll give him $20 a month, whatever you can afford. You can also do it in crypto. You connect your Coinbase wallet, and if you want, you can send him some crypto. But again, this is how it gets done. She's going to be raised a war chest. John needs help, and if you guys can help out with raising some money, that all for it. Put my donation in for this month, and I'll have my donation for next month. And let's do it together. And again, if you said 76,000 people, now granted, a lot of those are outside of the country, but let's suppose 20,000 people gave $5. It's $100,000, man. It's like it doesn't take a lot. It's really sheer numbers of this. So
bring in the money.
That's how it
bring
works.
in the money. Some comments. Sir John said I should call before bed, but a certain discussion on X made me hyper excited. That's right. So you had to come on here. Make sure you
I
check
think he's
in.
talking about the other hyper one that on the C19 we were going back and forth with Matt Hamilton again. So
get on. That's right. iReal Media. I invented Shelter Crypto Coin to solve homelessness. I just add Brad G for $1 billion XRP.
There you go. It sounds like a winning.
The Shelter Crypto Coin. I like it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty simple, right?
Now here's Omega. In regards to all the Moon Boy talk, how do you guys see these? How do you guys see things playing out? in regards to the Moon Boys or in regards to like the crypto market? That would be a good. But if in regards to the Moon Boys, I think eventually they just, they're going to disappear into the woodworks. I think there just won't be space for it. When the market matures, there'll always be some segment of it on. You just have to have it. You have to have it. You see it on YouTube all the time. I think in terms of even in the stock, you see people talking about stocks and doing TA, and you try to follow it. But are they all legit? A little bit of FOMO, a little bit of hype, a little bit of fun.
Listen, when you watch some of these guys and they start giving dates and they say this is going to happen, or they announce something happened, and you go out and look for it yourself and you can't find it, eventually you kind of know deep down inside that, okay, this is probably bullshit. But there's that little part of you that just wants to believe because you want to feel good about yourself. You want to be like, yeah, XRP will be worth, $1,400 per token. It's great. I mean, everybody likes to, speculate and fantasize, but I think there will always be that niche people, but I think a lot of them kind of are onto it. Like, deep down inside, they kind of know, but it's fun to play. Just like with the hype, it's just fun to sort of to engage in it. But I think at some level, they kind of know better because none of it's ever happened. There's one guy out there, he's just pulls stuff out of the sky. It's just garbage. But meanwhile, people throw money at him. There's tons of super chats. He gets a couple $100 every broadcast. It's mind blowing to me, Jeff. I mean, it's like, it's not like I mean, it's silly stuff too. It's nonsense. You're like, I sit back and I'm like, do you think anybody will just follow up on that? Or you think they'll just take his word for it? Because how many sources could you find that actually, secret memos and secret papers and documents,
secret documents that nobody else had, that somehow this secret document made its way onto the internet?
Jeff, I saw this one of these political cartoons here, and it kind of really made me think. It kind of really made
$10 in XRP. There you go, Gary. I like that. Just hand out $10 in XRP. Boom. Or just give me a $10 XRP. That was it. A $10.
Here we have a wolf. We have a wolf talking to some sheep here.
Give me $1.
The wolf says, once elected, I will be vegetarian. We're like, okay, let's do it. We're all in. Sure.
Those are politicians to the T.
That's
there you
it.
go. As you have the resident of the White House talking about closing the border. Did an executive order to close the border and then is going to let in unaccompanied minors. And, how do you classify the minor? Are they 16, 17? Where are they drawing the line with this stuff?
It's it's easy to do. It's just one line, reenact everything that you disabled Trump's executive orders. It's pretty simple.
That's it. We've been in the Senate, I would say, for more than 12 years, or the House for more than 10 years, especially more than 20 years. You definitely are the problem. Especially when they say, I've been working on it since I've been here. That's like Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. I've been working on this. Elizabeth Warren. I've been working on this since I got elected the first time. 40 years ago?
Well, this guy right here, I don't know.
On it.
I don't like when somebody takes a video and then puts it out there, because I like to do the attribution. Now, if it's on TikTok at the very end, they'll have their name. But greetings from Belgium. What's up?
There's our Twitch watcher. Well, congratulations.
Let's do this guy.
He has overturn of Belgium.
He has some. Yeah, we're going to talk about Belgium too. This is some good news coming out of Belgium. But let's listen to this guy right here. He's got a pretty good take. Some vulgarities in here, but it's not us. This guy, he just wants to express himself. Let's listen through this and let's take apart what he has to say here.
How I would fix how fucked up the United States Congress is with 5 simple rules. The first rule obviously being term limits. The people in Congress should be just like the president. They are only allowed to serve 2 terms. Then they can make way for someone else who has something else to say. Rule number 2, congressmen and women are paid the median salary of the state they represent. If the congressman or woman wants to make more money, they need to take action to raise the median salary of the people in their state. This will immediately guarantee that they understand the people they represent. And I know people are going to say that would be hard to do because they have to go back and forth between Washington and their state. That leads me to rule number 3. No more traveling to Washington, and also no overseas travel paid by the taxpayer. Now, how will we accomplish this? Easy. We all know what fucking Zoom is. It is 2024. There is no fucking reason for our representatives to be traveling to Washington. There is no reason they have to meet in the same fucking room. We just install big ass iPads on each chair. and they can talk it out over Zoom. It's fucking insane that we are paying for our representatives to travel all the way across the country just to fucking vote. All we need is big-ass iPads, secure push-button voting technology, and video conferencing technology. 3 things we already have. As for the overseas travel, there is zero fucking reason for a representative from Idaho to have to go to Paris on official business. They are not foreign dignitaries. They are not part of some international Peace Corps. They are representatives of their state, so they need to stay in their fucking state. Now, if they want to go overseas on vacation, that's fine. They can pay for it themselves. But there's absolutely no fucking reason taxpayers should be footing the bill for representatives or senators to fly overseas. Now, without them traveling all over the place, that's going to free up a lot of time. And that'll lead into rule number 4, which is single issue bills only. Any bill that's submitted to be voted on can only be about one single issue. There is no fucking reason a veterans benefit bill should have anything unrelated to veterans in it. It should be putting up one issue at a time, voting on one issue at a time, and passing or not passing one bill at a time. Want more money for Ukraine? Put up a bill that is just the Ukraine funding. Don't combine it with some bill giving benefits to old people to try to make everyone feel bad and vote yes. If a bill or an issue can't pass on its own merits, then it doesn't need to be passed. And lastly, rule number 5. Anytime a member of Congress speaks to the media or the American people, it is automatically assumed that they are under oath and can be charged with perjury for lying to the American people. And if through a jury of their peers, preferably that jury should also be made up of the residents of the state they represent, they will be immediately removed from office. And that's it. 5 rules to unfuck Congress.
Thank you, and good night.
Pretty strong, Jeff. It's a lot of things we talk about. We talk about term limits. We talk about single issue bills. No more pork in these bills. I love the idea when he basically said that anything they say, if consider that they're under oath.
Mm-hmm.
And if they
That was solid. I like that.
That was some good stuff. I was really,
I love it.
yeah.
See,
That's it.
I like that. And here you had the lot of F words.
Yeah, there were, unfortunately, but
Fucking
sometimes
It was dropping. It was like every sentence had an F bomb in it. But you know what? Sometimes you got to put that in for emphasis.
the
It
thoughts
had
were
a little
there.
color, a little flair to kind of bring out the passion of what he was talking about. But here's real quick: Cookie Monster XRP, the true stablecoin at 50 cents. And we talk about that all the time. It's 100% spot on. When XRP finds its spot, it hovers within a couple cent range, up and down, up and down. It sticks there. You can rely on it. You're like, what's XRP? I don't know. It's probably around 51, 52 cents. Maybe it's made it up as high as 55. Maybe it went down to like 48, 49, but it's going to come back to that 51, 52 cent mark, which is, perfect. Alchemist was funny. He said, would you take 20 of the XRP stablecoin over 20 XRP? He said he would take the $20. There you
I would
go.
take $20 too. I think it's not bad.
Give me that
I find
$20.
myself agreeing with Alchemist a real lot these days, Jeff. I got to be honest. He's making some solid points. Jeff, I wanted to put this on. I don't know if you remember UK comedian Ricky Gervais a couple years ago on the Golden Globes. He destroyed the place, dropped the mic, and walked out the door.
That's great.
Well, he's back with this little observation that I thought was pretty. What a deal! He's back with this observation, Jeff, and I want to get your take on this.
Hi guys, Ricky G here, wellness and beauty influencer. As a celebrity, I know all about stuff, like science and politics. So trust me when I tell you who you should vote for. If you don't vote the right way, that's like a hate crime. It makes me sad and angry, and I'll leave the country. And you don't want
that. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so funny.
And I'll leave the country.
I'll leave
all the people were going to leave the first time Trump was
I'm smart.
Office. No, I didn't really see much of that.
Oh my God.
That was some solid stuff. And Jeff, do you want to set up this video about the law of cause and effect? Do you want to talk about this before I play the video?
Yeah, no, I mean, we talk a lot about the pendulum swinging. So I think that's kind of the perfect setup for this. But this is really cause and effect. The energy in is the energy you get out. And it's kind of a motivator too, because depending on how much of that energy, depending on the outcome that you want, anticipate that right energy, but it is cause and effect. And, there are kind of two meanings behind this, the meaning that the guy has in the video, and then the meaning that we're going to be using it more cause and effect with the pendulum swinging more to the right. and more from a political perspective, what happens, that cause and effect. Right now, the the impact and outcome is that everything had, for a couple years here, everything was artificially being pushed over to the left. And when you look at that pendulum, at some point, you can only hold it there so long before it starts moving right again. When it moves right, guess what happens? So, and we're starting to see that. So let's see what we got. Cause and effect. I think it's a perfect setup.
All right, let's play it.
There's 5 balls there. Now look at, if I drop one of these, 1 comes back. If I drop 2, 2 comes back. Let's suppose I drop 3. Will I just knock the 2? No. If I drop 3, I get 3 back. Now, if I drop 4, I get 4 back. See, that is a law. Energy out, energy back. And it's equal and opposite. You get the same back as you put out. The law of cause and effect. If you're not happy with what you're getting, you better focus on what you're giving.
That's it.
Well said, man. Well
And
said.
right now we don't like what we're getting, so guess what's going to happen? we're changing it around, and we want something back. We want something different.
We want something better, Jeff. We want something bigger, bolder. So this is
bathtub.
Let's start with
A.S. Simpson. Who was holding the camera? Who was holding the camera? It's a good question.
Probably got a tripod or something. Who knows?
Charles, he misses frozen screen. XRP to 60 cents. Boom. There we go.
Boom, baby. Boom.
Boom.
Can I get a boom? Can I get a boom? A boom. So this is so there's a hang on. So let me play. Hang on a second. Let me just stop this for 1 second, man. Let me play this. This is kind of the setup here. Hang on. I got these tweets all mixed up here. Where the heck are they?
Do we get it? You're not even ready.
So we have
where's the setup?
Malachi Steedson was elected in Belgium, Jeff, and this sort of gets everything going here. Let me see, where is he? Right here.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, and he was with Macron.
Yeah, Macron, Germany. I mean, Belgium. It's the revolution. He says it right here. Malachi says it right here. He says
it's not an impartial broadcaster in this matter. It's just an organisation that propagates government propaganda.
What message, in your view, does your election tell to the rest of the country?
It sends a very clear message that the revolution has begun.
Sends a very clear message that the revolution has begun. This guy was trying to be all, Mr. left-wing media one. He's just peddling propaganda. And then he was asked, he's like, the revolution has begun because, again, this guy's, he's standing for the people, and he crushed the and again, it's one representative, but again, that's how it starts. That's how it starts. If you remember Marine Le Pen back in the day, she was a wacko nut job. They labeled her. Well, you can say all you want about that, Jeff, but it turns out that something big just happened in France here. Let me find this story right here.
This was big. That was Ireland. So
that was Ireland, right. So here we go.
Changes going on in Ireland. We're seeing in the streets too. Man, it's amazing.
It's insane. So here it is right here. Holy Schlitz. Macron just announced he will hold an election in July after his crushing defeat tonight. So the election was supposed to be in 2027. 2027, Jeff. So if you look at Le Pen's party,
not happy.
Look at the beatdown. Look at the beatdown. Look at this. 2024 compared to 2019. 2019, you could see Macron's party.
Right.
22%, and now you can see Le Pen's party in 2024, 32%. So that is huge news. This is France we're talking about, people. This is everything Macron isn't, right? This is against, limiting, immigration. This is all about, the globalist agenda getting canceled. People are fed up. They're sick of it. They're not in line with it, and they're letting their voices be known here, Jeff.
So let me see if I can find. Is this the one? Nope. There's the Belgium's globalist prime minister resigns. You
Yeah,
have that one,
I do. I have that one as well. So this is it right here. So here
and
he
then
is.
you got the people celebrating in Germany.
So he resigned after losing. Now there's now the bigger story there is how much he lost by. Let's see if I can find this one. Again, it's just hard because gosh, they're all over the place. There's Germany. Gosh, I don't know what it is, but he got destroyed. Destroyed.
God,
And if you just want me to throw this back up here so you can watch this video of him. You don't need the sound, but just look at his face. He's basically in tears. He's hugging his wife. He's got tears in his eyes. He got like only 5% of the vote. He got destroyed. People said, "Go F yourself."
that's it, man.
Well,
It's
the straight
about time. People have been waiting for this moment. Even in Scotland, you had the prime minister of Scotland was removed. And he was the one that kept attacking everybody. Man, thank goodness.
yeah, just watch him, Jeff. Look at him. He's hugging it. He's like, "Oh, look at me."
Hug it out.
Practically crying. He got tears in his eyes. Because he got destroyed. People don't want it, man. They're done with you. You've been
They
canceled.
don't want his ideas and they don't want him. They don't like him.
Destroyed. Belgium said, "Go F yourself." And I love it. Way to
See
go.
that? Look at that coming from Belgium right there. He should never have been there in the first place. See?
Right. You guys sent a strong message. See you later, stupid. That's what you said. I love it. It's just great when people get destroyed like that.
The pen is mightier than the macaroon. Than the macaron. His name literally means the pen.
Does it really?
I don't know.
I don't know what it means.
I don't know if it does.
And then we have here from Wall Street Silver put this up. Right-wing parties of Europe are dominating European Union elections. Germany, France, and Netherlands and other countries, parties that support mass deportations are winning record amounts of seats in the European Parliament.
Yep. Yeah.
It's amazing, Jeff. The pendulum
Man,
is turning.
about time. Sir John said, still, EPP will lead the EU Parliament, which is more or less useless. Good thing. Is that right-wing conservatives are getting stronger, mostly because people had enough of the wokeness and the Islamist immigrants. You have the Islamo-fascists taking over, invading throughout Europe, and you see the stuff that goes on. And granted, it's here too, and we're going to see more of it. But the stuff that goes on over there is just mind-boggling, especially in the UK, because those police over there, what do they call them, bobbies? They walk around. They don't have guns. What do they have? Pepper spray? I don't even know if they have that. They used to have little, and then they get attacked. Like I was watching that one. They just attack them. I mean, at least give them a taser gun. Give them something.
When I was in London, and some fight broke out outside of a club, and I took my phone out and started recording it. And they had this guy on the ground, and it was a woman, cop, and she had him on the ground, and she's like, "You cannot film." I'm like, "Why not?" She goes, "I'm going to need to take that." I'm like, "You're not going to take it." I said, I have a right to be able to record this. And she was madder at me than the person she was trying to pin down on the ground. She was like this. I'm like, "Okay, I'll turn it off," right? Because I don't need any trouble. Things going on when I'm in London. So I turn it off and I just disappear in the crowd because what is she going to do? You take my recording of you, holding some dude that was getting in a fight. I mean, it's ridiculous. Look at this, Jeff.
Silly.
Whoa, a massive political earthquake just rocked Germany. Liberal Green Party lost 18% of young voters. That's the big one. While the AfD, that's the far right, made a stunning 10% gain. Young voters are done with the left.
Man, they're losing. These guys, these kids got to wake up. They run around. They have all their gadgets and their iPhones and their iPod. Their what are the AirPods, and all these different things are expensive. And then they're gonna be like, yeah, we don't want that stuff. We don't want any of that capitalist stuff. Want to give it all up. Let's let all these invaders into the country that are just wreaking havoc on their own future.
Look at the
It's a
celebration.
good thing though.
Excited.
They got to stand up for their future.
So there you go. It's like, the pendulum's swinging back. Too bad about Mexico, but Mexico was gone a long time ago. I wrote them off quite a bit ago.
Mexico, Brazil, Venezuela, Chile.
Bro got, let's just face it. He destroyed in every region except for one, which the vote was so crazy lopsided, bizarro world where people were demonstrating for months in the street. So that was another stolen election. Let's face it.
Yep. But at least we kind of captured El Salvador and Argentina. Time will tell. But at least the economies get stronger. And the BRICS economies with this whole narrative of that was the other we were talking about that BRICS was going to be using XRP or somehow, Putin or Russia. Yeah, that was kind of a crazy article that came out the other day. That was another one. But even BRICS, we talked about that. We talk about it every time. What is the prospect of it succeeding? If the EU with the euro had difficulty succeeding overall in terms of stability, and what did it do to some of the countries in the beginning stages? They were able to kind of figure out a way navigating through it, but they gave up their sovereignty to be part of the EU. They gave up their currencies and their economic stability. And then you look at the EU as a whole, and it's being propped up by a couple countries, Germany, France, and that's it. They used to rely on England heavily also, and England left. They're like, we're done with this. But they were the only smart ones. They kept their sovereignty and held their own currency. Now you look at BRICS, and how are you going to even rely? They're trying to put together a trade group and then have a currency, an accepted kind of community accepted currency they're going to use for their trade currency. And now they're talking about it being, they're going to create their own currency. Is it going to be a basket of goods of the primary BRIC countries? Or are they going to have some digital asset? What is it going to be backed by? What are they going to do? Are people going to rely on it? Is it going to be decentralized, or is it going to be centralized to the authority of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa? And are the Saudis really going to be good with it? I think, what's happening is that you have a bunch of countries coming on board because why not? It's like, hey, they're kind of moving in this direction. We want to do trade with them, which you see a lot of the BRICS countries that joined, move back to the dollar, left whatever crazy currency notion they had. Eventually it's going to, turn into a nothing burger.
Jeff, I know you don't.
What's going to happen?
I know you're not a big French speaker, but this is Macron talking about. Just watch this thing. This is a defeated man that knows he's on his way out. Watch this.
Is it in English or French?
De notre avenir parlementaire par le vote. Je dissous donc ce soir l'Assemblée nationale.
It's over for me.
Je signerai dans quelques instants le décret de convocation des élections législatives qui se tiendront le 30 juin pour le premier tour, le 7 juillet pour le second.
He knows it's over, Jeff. That's the bottom line.
It's over. It is over. Vincent Scully, when people start coming around and realizing what's going on, it becomes the vast majority. Do they label an entire population alt-right? That's what they've tried to do. The crazies on the left that support this agenda are a minority group. That's the whole point. They're a minority group that has become so outspoken, and the media have gravitated, the Hollywood elites gravitated to it. Some of the corporate, I don't understand why some of these corporations would gravitate to it. Made no sense. Governments did it. Obviously, when you have governments pushing a narrative of a minority group, and they make it just look so much bigger. And, as soon as you give somebody a microphone and you put a crowd of 30 people behind them, but they have the national microphone, and all of a sudden they're on every media channel. You're like, holy crap, they're on every media channel. These guys must be massive. And then they start burning shit down in the streets and defacing our national monuments and spraying them with red paint and destroying stuff. And, they did that. That was in 2020. If you remember that whole summer of love when they were marching across the country, burning stuff down. And then the government, instead of going after the culprits that were causing it, decide to single out everybody that, was going to vote Republican. They're like, these guys are the bad ones. Look how bad they are. Look how they're still talking about Trump today. Even forget about, what's going on over in Europe. They continuously will badmouth anyone that wants to reclaim the national identity, and they want to label them an alt-right party. And then they want to label that whole population alt-right. And it's just the crazies are running the asylum right now, and that's got to come to an end. You can't run a country like this. You can't have these crazies running around. It makes no sense. We got to get back to normalcy. We got to get back to the day where you could watch a TV show and they would make fun of everybody and it would be funny. And they could say stuff and no one gets offended. It's just like, come on. Think about like All in the Family. What a great show that was.
I mean, today that would never fly.
Right.
I don't even think they show it in reruns. To be honest with you, I think it's
might be on like TV Land. And I think, what? All in the Family was a show that was over in England also. I don't remember what it was called.
You mean they had a version of it? Yeah.
They had the original. So there's a lot of shows that started in England and then come over here, and they started here as so there's two versions. And the English version was first. It's kind of bizarre because you'll never see it. You'll never know about it.
Yeah. This right here, let's go ahead and play this. This is I thought a very effective ad for turn that off, Jeff. God, get off the screen. Trying 15 times here. This is an ad for a Trump ad.
Get rid of
not a lot. It's just a lot of it's imagery. But let's listen. Let's watch this.
Look, I'm not a young guy. That's no secret. Yeah. Anyway.
Man, that's a strong one. I mean, we're at a point now. It's so obvious, and then when his wife is around, she kind of walks him and guides him.
She's the handler. She's like, did you see him doing the bending down and trying to sit on the chair? And he was like, people thought he was doing dropping a deuce. I mean, it was embarrassing. I mean, even Macron and his wife were just like, even they were like, dude, what? And then here's
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing on so many levels for a foreign dignitary to even have to have a meeting with him. But what's interesting, it's going to be interesting when he pairs up to have a debate with Trump, and then they didn't want a live audience, right? So it had to be in a studio, then they had to be seated. So approved questions, seated. And now I think they agreed to be standing, and they're going to cut the mic and no back and forth because he can't.
So it's not a debate then. There's basically not a debate. It's just going to be a left wing controlled. And it's going to be done by CNN. They're going to try to manipulate and care, but it doesn't matter. He's still going to get blown away. So Alan Dershowitz, who's long been known for, a pretty well legal scholar, and it's real well documented. He didn't vote for Trump. He's not a big Trump fan. He's a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. But this was Piers Morgan, and he had Alan Dershowitz, and Alan Dershowitz weighs in on the Trump verdict.
Start with you. From a pure legal perspective, how sound was this verdict?
From 1 to 10, it was a below 20. It's the worst legal verdict I've seen in 60 years of practicing, writing, litigating cases. It's now days since the verdict. I still don't know what he was convicted of. Was he convicted of intent to cheat on his taxes 2 years later, although he didn't take it as a deduction? Was he convicted of defrauding voters who obviously knew that he was a sexual scoundrel? Was he convicted of seeking to make an illegal campaign contribution, although the contribution didn't have to be listed until after the election. I have never seen a case where even after the verdict came down, we don't know what he was convicted of. No one in history has ever been convicted of failing to disclose hush money payment paid to somebody. Why would anybody pay hush money if they had to disclose it? This is a case where the prosecutor simply decided to get Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter. I voted against him. I'm a liberal Democrat, but I care more about the weaponization and distortion of the criminal justice system.
This woman on the right is such a pain. Like, you listen to her argument.
She's
She doesn't make a clear argument, and she doesn't really
never do.
defend the position. And he's talking about the legality of it, that he's never seen a case litigated like that, that there was nothing. And what they go back to is they're like, oh, there were 34 counts. Well, 34 counts of what? Oh, 34 counts. 34 felony counts of what? You can't just have a felony count. It has to be a felony of something. What was the actual crime? Oh, the 120,000 or whatever it was. Oh, it was a bookkeeping error that they lied about. No, that wasn't it.
And also, it's not a felony; it's a misdemeanor.
Right.
And the federal courts threw out. Listen, the left is going to be in for such a brutal takedown when this gets overturned. They're going to whine like you've never heard whining in your life. They're going to just complain and scream and throw a full-blown tantrum, but it's ridiculous.
There you go.
Oh,
I
there
knew
you
there'd
go.
be
That's right. Till
someone
death do
out
us
there.
part.
So Death Do Us Part was the original, and then All in the Family was
Yeah.
based on that. I've got to find that one, Till Death Do Us Part. We'll have to go back. But there's so
I've
many
seen
of them
that.
that
I've
were
seen that
based
one.
on the UK version. Some of them are a little crazy, like was it Ghosts? Like I was watching the show Ghosts. I forget what, I think it's on Paramount or whatever. And it's kind of funny over here that I watched the UK version. It was good, but I don't know, it was a little much. I
Like
like
The
the
Office,
US
they only
version.
did like 16 episodes. The Office was phenomenal. That was Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
But again, this is the
The
thing. They
original.
have something phenomenal and then they burn it out. Like there's been so many great
Here, yeah.
UK, sitcoms over the years, and it's
There they know their beginning and their end. What was the one that was in the department store? Man, that was one of my favorites. I grew up with that one.
Don't remember.
They were in a department store and they're different floors.
Blackadder was another one.
Oh, Blackadder was a good one.
That was a good one. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them, man. Or the one with the two ladies, the one that was a drunk all the time.
Oh, that was
absolutely fabulous. That was another good one.
Now about the one that was in we used to watch this all the time. What was it called? It was in a bar. They were in the bar. There were like 5 friends. That was another good one.
It's called Cheers, Jeff. No, sorry.
It was different.
Yeah,
That's another one. Benny Hill. Oh yeah, Benny Hill was a classic.
Benny Hill. Someone posted that today. I was like, I can't even show it here on YouTube. It's like
Shameless was in the UK before it was here.
Yeah.
Look at that. See that?
Yeah.
Cheers. Come on, it wasn't Cheers. House of Cards.
So many fantastic ones, man.
And by the way, congratulations to everybody out there that is a Florida Panthers fan.
Yeah.
If you're a Edmonton Oilers fan, well, you lost yesterday 3-0 to the Panthers. That was a great game. That was a really, really good game right down to the end.
Yeah, speaking of which,
and I think Edmonton played really well. But
did you hear that the Edmonton Oilers are
they're changing their name
to Edmonton 20% renewable energy by 2035? That's awesome.
20% renewable energy by 2035 or
2035. Yeah, that's so. There you go. Can't be the Oilers anymore, Jeff. Yeah, that's not.
Are you being served? There you go, man. Who's has got it? Are you being served? What another good. That was a great one.
Look at this here. So Biden drops the first bomb on Normandy in 80 years. There he is right there dropping a bomb. Boom. We got another one here.
Oh, God.
Putting googly eyes on Biden so he looks like he's paying attention.
There you go. Exactly.
Served, yeah.
You're being served.
Yeah. So
now we can find the one with the friends. God, I used to watch that one all the time. That was an awesome one. I'm trying to think.
First Monty Python was good stuff.
All I could think of is Swingers. It wasn't Swingers because it was kind of in that same vibe with the name of it. Oh, man. One of the characters was Jeff.
Wow, that was a long time. I hate when they come out with something really good and it just dies, you know.
What ran for 13 years? Are You Being Served? Man.
Yeah.
13 years. Man, look at The Simpsons. How long is The Simpsons? Simpsons like 20-something years already.
Yeah. Are You Being
Simpsons
Served?
is awesome.
This is it, right? Googly-eyed Biden for 24. There you go. There you have it.
Right.
Googly-eyed.
Yeah.
There's that's all.
Googly. Googly.
Oh, googly.
Googly.
The Google eyes.
Where's that Nigel Farage?
Yeah.
Do we have a video or just a post on that one?
Let me see on that one. I'm trying to look for it. I know I had it here somewhere. I
just passed it.
I got it.
You got it. Pull it up.
Yeah, so Piers Morgan said, this audience hates Farage just as the Question Time audience did last week. Remember that? Remember that he came in third on I'm a Celebrity, losing to a retired boxer and someone I'd never heard of. His popularity is massively overstated. # leader debate. And then Nigel said, hi, Piers. I'm running for election. You're running a YouTube account. I love Nigel Farage, man. The guy's really, I mean, imagine him as prime minister, Jeff. How incredible that would be. Yeah, hi, Piers. I'm running for election. You're running a YouTube account. Just fantastic. You gotta love that.
It's really funny.
And then this one here, Jeff. You gotta love
this right here. Hey, breaking the bank. Senator Lee introduces bill officially to abolish the Federal Reserve. I know we talked about this before, but now it's official.
Getting it ready for Trump to sign.
Posted it up June 6th. Senate introduced the Federal Reserve Board Abolition Act, legislation that would dissolve the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and the Federal Reserve Banks, and repeal the 1913 Federal Reserve Act, which established the system. Rep. Thomas Massey leads the companion bill in the House of Representatives. There we go. So 2 of them. I love this statement from Senator Lee. The Federal Reserve has overstepped and repeatedly failed to achieve its mandate and become an economic manipulator that has directly contributed to the financial instability many Americans face today. This legislation aims to protect our economic future by dismantling a system that enables unchecked government spending, the monetization of federal debt that fuels it, and widespread economic disruption. It's time to end the Fed. Followed up with Massey saying Americans are suffering under crippling inflation and the Federal Reserve is to blame. I'd say partially. The rest of the policies coming out of the White House.
Ready for Trump's signature because you'll have it ready to go. It's going to be great. And then we'll end on this note here. But Gavin Newsom instituted a $20 minimum wage for fast food workers in California. 3 months later, nearly 10,000 fast food workers have been laid off. Chains are closing down locations and others are declaring bankruptcy. Great job. There you go. They lost 10,000 fast food jobs. And this is what happens when you have these leftists that have never run a business. They don't know. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? You're squeezing small business out. They say, okay, instead of 4 people, 2 people. Now those 2 people have to do more work, or they're going to get a kiosk to replace those 2 people. So, you know, it's like you go into like, I forget what it's, Walgreens or CVS, which is a pharmacy here. And there's never anybody at the front. It's just you go in there and you scan your own stuff and you walk out. There's 2 of them. And it's right in front of where the cashier would be. This is happening all over, and AI is going to eliminate a lot more jobs. So people don't wake up, first of all, fast food jobs were not meant to be careers. They weren't meant to, so this whole idea of like, let's put it to the minimum of 20. For the funny thing is they did this in Washington State, I believe. It was one of these other liberal left bastions where they did it and they had the same result. They just never learned. It doesn't matter. I mean, communism, socialism, all the isms have failed, but they think, but if I do it, if I'm the one to institute it, then it'll work. All there's failures everywhere around it, and they think they're the ones. But anyway, Jeff, that's all the time we have.
Yeah, just as a kind of sound note coming out of this real quick, and I find it to be interesting. So you just brought up the $20 minimum wage thing. When this was introduced back in February, they said that there's an exemption for certain eateries, and Panera would be exempt because it's a sandwich shop instead of just like a minimum wage or some sort of an exemption. So Bloomberg reported, Fox News reported, AP, they all report it, every one of them. And then comes out here, the governor never met with Flynn about the bill, and this story is absurd, says Alex Stack, a spokesperson for Gavin Newsom. This was in March. Stack even confirmed the California governor's legal team reviewed the legislation and found the carve-out may not even exist. Didn't say may not even exist, right? So the whole point is that the owner of the Paneras, I guess, is buddies with Gavin Newsom, or he's one of his big donors in California. So that's what was in all the news that was coming out back in February. So obviously, once you get called out, then it's like, oh no, Panera's also increasing. They would not be exempt, even though Eater LA said they reported they would be exempt. So there you go. It's so crazy stuff, the crazy times and the crazies that are trying to run it. And there you go.
I see King County is going to do that. They're raising it to $20.29 an hour across unincorporated King County, though the ordinance won't take effect on January 1st, 2025. What's the minimum wage? Yeah, it's already $13 for almost $14 right now up in Washington State. It's insane, Jeff. It's insane.
So crazy. But then the cost of living in California is outrageous. So really, what happens? The cost of living goes up further. So if you're going to pay people $20, then what is the cost of the food going to be? Food prices are going up everywhere. At the Irish pub yesterday, and the price of everything is up. Everything. They used to have a special promo on the Fighting 69 Irish whiskey, Glendalough Irish whiskey. You do a little 1 ounce pour for like $5, so that's $6. The shepherd's pie was $20. It used to be like 16 or 17, and now it's 20. Like the new menu, new prices. Fish and chips, $24, $25. Hamburgers were like 18. Like everything is going up. It's amazing. You can't. Anytime you go out, I didn't even look what the pint of Guinness was.
AI equals universal basic income. What about these people that aren't going to have jobs then? I mean, if you saw that, what's it called? There's a new Sora competitor that's doing prompt to video, and these things are insanely good. It's going to get scary, man. It's about to get real scary. Yeah, $2 an hour. That's right.
Still don't understand the tip option on self-checkout. It's crazy. There's way too much tipping now. Everywhere you go, and then you almost feel compelled, to tip.
Well,
when we were at the hockey game last week, and you go to the register, like tipping everywhere. It's like it used to be you go to concessions, you wouldn't tip at concessions. Now you go get concessions and everything's overpriced, and now there's like a tipping option.
You know what the bad part of it is? Let's say you find the good in your heart, you go, give them 20%, right? You just spend $60, you give them 20%.
They don't even crazy,
dude. They don't even think
they don't give a shit. They don't even know. So you know what I did? I was tipping them before. This time I put 0. And I'm just like, why am I going to tip? I tipped them 20% last time. I'm not going to tip you anything this time. It was too much, and I should have. But I'm like, look at the options, 15, 20, and then you could custom. I was like, but why are you even asking for a tip? There's concessions. We're paying a ridiculous amount on the food.
That's a good point.
It's crazy. Like you said, they don't care. You never pay tipped on that stuff. In the bar, you tip. Even there, you know what? The tip, 15, 20, 25% on the bar tab. You're at the bar. It wasn't before you tip a couple bucks on every drink. But since when is it 10%, 20%, whatever?
And they sneak that. They always try to sneak in like the auto thing. They put it as a byline somewhere. Listen, if you're gonna tip, it's the responsibility of whoever's serving you to say, hey, just want to let you guys know, but they don't say anything because they think, okay, if you give a tip and you'll get it on top of that, they'll make it's just, I mean, I don't understand. Look at this right here. Who's Crypto saying, yeah, Chip's right. The lower paying jobs are about integrating youth into society, learning skills, and understanding the value of work. Right. It's not what it was. That's what it used to be.
Ripple's meant to be.
Economic slavery. Sebastian Lawyer said.
The Trojan horse.
The Trojan. All right, that's it. We're out of here, guys.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
See you guys on Wednesday. That's all we got for tonight.
Glad you got a good job so slow.
There you go.
So slow.
That's the next one. Chip and Jeff out. Take care, guys.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.